Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, on the ongoing continued coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, we are receiving reports of more drone activity, more alleged drone activity on the part of the Ethiopian Air Force against targets of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Now, over the last few days, we have heard about operations taking place in the vicinity of Abala. We have heard about regional militias of afar, possible utilization of regular Ethiopian army, Amhara state militias being used to cross over from Abala into the Tigray region to then press towards the capital of Mekelle. And additionally, we have now heard reports that the possible use of drones were utilized in the vicinity of Abala, west of Abala, and east of Mekelle. Specifically, we're led to believe a possible drone strikes in the vicinity of this area, as you can see on my map, and this is a wind farm. But I want to first look at the possibility of the use of the Turkish TB2 drone. And we hear continued reports that Turkey could have possibly supplied the use or given the Ethiopian Air Force or intelligence agencies a TB2 drone or more than one TB2 drone. And what I want to do is try to eliminate the possibility that the TB2 drone was used against forces, the Tigrayan Defense Forces in the vicinity of Bala. And if we look at the two most probable air bases that would have been utilized by the Ethiopian Air Force. The first logical place and where we believe we have seen drone activity in the past was this air base at Samara. And we actually observed the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, at this air base, possibly looking at drones. So if we pull up our handy dandy mileage reader here, and we will select miles, and we'll start from the Samara Air Base, and we will just drag it over as a bird flies to the suspected area of operations where this alleged drone activity occurred, and we'll just say in between Abala and Mekelle. Well, as you can see, that is 141 miles. The effective range of a TB2 drone is about 100 miles. So it can travel, its combat radius is 100 miles. So this would take operations out of that airbase outside of the range of the TB2 drone. So that's not to say that a drone did not take off from that airbase and get used against the Tigrayan Defense Forces. It simply says that it was not a TB2 drone. And we know the TB2 is very effective, and it is renowned for both its optics, its Canadian designed and made optics that have forward-looking infrared, and the very effective MAML missile, laser guided missile. And that was used very effectively in the campaigns of the Azeris against the Armenians recently. And if we go to and we look at the next most logical airbase, we'll go and we'll look at the one near Desse, and or actually it's just north of Kombolcha to the east of Desse. And we'll click it there, and we'll drag up, and we'll have a look at at the range from the airbase near Dese to roughly in between Mekelle and Abala. And again, 156 miles as a bird fly. So again, well out of the range of the capability of the TB2 drone. So again, the TB2 does not use satellite connectivity. It uses line of sight connectivity, and if it loses that, you simply will not be able to operate the payload, as there is no data link. Compounding that, the range of the vehicle, of the aircraft, of the drone, simply would not get it to the vicinity of Mekelle and then have it loiter for any period of time to find a target. The next issue, why I think, and my hypothesis centers on the reason the military activity we did see near Abala and west of Abala. And if they were using some sort of drone that had the capability to reach west of Abala, it makes sense that they would want to go into an area where they knew responding forces would be coming from east, from west to east, and there are not other targets, such as civilian targets, that could be hit. Obviously, they would be tracking a possible column movement along the few roadways that lead towards Abala or the wind farms, and that would give them the ability to utilize those drones inside of what they perceive as enemy territory. So the only other fighting that is occurring would be in the Amhara region, and that would risk the utilization of drones in the Amhara region would possibly risk the Ethiopian military striking civilian targets, striking Amharans inside of the Amhara region, and it is a lot more populated and a lot more cluttered with different targets. So they were probably concerned about the fact that could they identify appropriate targets, and then could they hit those targets. It would seem logical that the drones hunting for targets west of Abala would be more conducive to hitting an actual enemy target than operating deep inside the Amhara region. And I would say, in all likelihood, that movement of force by the Amhara and the Afar regional forces into the Tigray region from afar served only one purpose, and that was to draw out forces of the Tigrayan Defense Forces to then have them engaged by drones. I think that if drones were used near Abala, that was the reason for that attack west of Abala, and that was simply to get the Ethiopian Air Force or its intelligence agency, whoever is operating the drone or drones, the opportunity to strike at an enemy target inside of enemy territory and not risk any form of collateral damage. And that was probably what occurred if the reports of drone use inside of the Tigray region west of Abala is confirmed. We can't say they most likely were not TB2 drones, given the ranges that they would need to fly, again, as I just talked about. But we would have to look and assess if these were Chinese drones, if these were Iranian drones, and again, based on my information, these are not the best drones. They tend to lose data link, and the payload operator has challenges finding targets because he simply can't look for targets because they lose data link intermittently. And again, it would be the same as if you're streaming a movie and the movie starts to buffer. That's very similar to what can happen with the drones via some of these lesser tech data links. that are used by other countries. Even the United States experiences it from time to time within their utilizations of drones as well. So it would have to be more pronounced when using lesser technology. But that was the situation that occurred, and I just wanted to report on that, talk about it, show everyone the distances in which these drones would have to cover. And again, these are very slow moving drones that would take probably an hour from launch time from those two air bases by drones to get to that area, depending on headwinds and what have you. And then they have to find targets and look for targets, and that can be challenging. In other news in the region, we continue to see the state of Ethiopia gravitate away from the West. We continue to see United Nations officials being expelled. We continue to see tensions increasing between the West, specifically the United States and the EU, against the Ethiopian state, the remnants of the Ethiopian state, the Amhara region, for this continued anaconda strategy and the starvation of in excess of 400,000 civilians. So again, it would appear that Ethiopia, whatever you want to call it now, in its slowly turning despotic regime of Abiy Ahmed, obviously that is gravitating towards Isaias Afwerki and that despotic regime in Eritrea, but they continue to gravitate towards China. They continue to gravitate towards actors like Eritrea, North Korea, and gravitate away from democratic-leaning nations that represents the populace. So again, as predicted, we can continue to see the Ethiopian state, whatever you want to define it as becoming less and less democratic, and slowly start to transform into a despotic regime, the likes we see inside of Eritrea. And that is simply a fact. It is occurring. Eventually, Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party will need to find funding and resources and money. And if it's not getting that from the West, it will simply try and go to China and these non-democratic regimes that exist. And that's what we have for today. I will be making another video soon, and I will talk to everyone soon. Have a great day, everyone.